don't know where Maureen is. There's Ronald Reagan. It's not Junior. Different middle name. Used to be called Skipper when he was a little boy. Ronald Reagan, watching his efforts of 12 years come to fruition. Here tonight, he is the nominee of his party for the highest office this nation can bestow, the presidency of the United States. Just 18 years ago, he was a Democrat. Shortly before that, a liberal Democrat. But he'd begun to change his views. In 1962, he became a Republican. In 1964, he proclaimed his loyalty to the conservative side of the Republican Party when he made a speech in support of Barry Goldwater at the 64 convention in San Francisco. It was a rousing speech and attracted a lot of attention. Went on from that to the governorship of California and now to the presidential nomination. To what undoubtedly will be a hall gone wild. There he is, a Republican candidate for the presidency, ready to do something to this crowd tonight, confirm Ford, surprise them with Bush, or whatever. Paul Laxalt, you see, greeting Mr. and Mrs. Reagan. Paul Laxalt, who gave us the official word a moment ago as the campaign chairman, that it is Bush.
Governor, is it Bush? Hello. How are you, Governor? Dan?
Nelson Benton is somewhere in that crowd outside the hall. Nelson?
Walter, you better believe it. I am in the crush that is about 10 feet from the door. Governor Reagan, as you saw, just arrived and was greeted by Senator Paul Laxalt, who told us just a little while ago that Ambassador Bush would be his running mate. People shouted out to him, "Who's your running mate?" I shouted, "Is it Bush?" We got no answer, or if we got one, we were unable to hear it, and you could probably see the crush that's going on. Governor Reagan and Senator Laxalt just went into the hall, and I presume we will hear something shortly. Forgive the shortness of breath, Walter. It's a little tight down here.
Good work, Nelson. Thank you, and we'll be getting back to that scene behind the podium if they permit us to do so. If indeed he expects to introduce his vice presidential choice to this hall tonight, we've got a little while to wait. The Bush Hotel is outside of Detroit itself. It'll take him a while to get back down here to the hall if indeed the presidential nominee intends to introduce him tonight. Maybe he's not going to. Maybe he's just going to announce the name. CBS News coverage of the Republican National Convention will continue in a moment.
This is CBS.
Back. I've got to say...
From the Joe Louis Arena in downtown Detroit, CBS News coverage of the 1980 Republican National Convention continues. Sponsored by Polaroid.
John Rhodes, the chairman of the convention, just begun to speak. Let's listen.
Rule 17 states that when it appears at the close of the roll call that any candidate for the nomination for president or vice president has received a majority of the votes entitled to be cast, the chairman of the convention shall announce the question to be, shall the nomination of the candidate be made unanimous? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the nomination of Ronald Reagan is made unanimous. And without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid upon the table. The chair appoints the following outstanding Republicans to the committee to notify Governor Reagan of your decision to nominate him for the office of President of the United States. Ann Armstrong of Texas, Keith Bullen of Indiana, Robert Carter of the District of Columbia, William Casey of New York, Congressman Tom Evans of Delaware, Congresswoman Marjorie Holt of Maryland, Senator Nancy Kassebaum of Kansas, Senator Paul Laxalt of Nevada, Drew Lewis of Pennsylvania, James Lynn of Maryland, Congressman Robert Michael of Illinois, Virginia Rice of California, Congressman Guy Vanderjack of Michigan, Frank Whetstone of Montana, and Cliff White of Connecticut.
Thank you very much. The delegates of this convention, you ladies and gentlemen, and those who are viewing, I know that I am breaking with precedent to come here tonight, and I assure you at this late hour I'm not going to give you my acceptance address tonight. I'll wait for the scheduled time. But in watching at the hotel the television and seeing the rumors that were going around and the gossip that was taking place here, I felt that it was necessary to break with tradition, just as probably in this campaign we're going to break with tradition a lot of times. Let me, as simply as I can, straighten out and bring this to a conclusion. It is true that a number of Republican leaders, people in our party, office holders, felt, as I'm sure many others have felt, that a proper ticket would have included the former President of the United States, Gerald Ford, as second place on the ticket. And it is true also that we have gone over this and over this and over this, and he and I have come to the conclusion, and he believes deeply, that he can be of more value as the former president campaigning his heart out, which he has pledged to do. And not as a member of the ticket. So, I respect him very much for the decision that he came to. He is loyal to this party and to this country. And Betty will be there wherever they need to be in the campaign to help. I then believed that because of all of the talk and how something might keep going for the night, that it was time for me to advance the schedule a little bit. And I talked to a man we all know, a man who was a candidate, a man who has great experience in government, and a man who told me that he can enthusiastically support the platform across the board. I have asked, and I am recommending to this convention that tomorrow, when the session reconvenes, that George Bush be nominated. Say good night. Yes. Okay. All right. Only have one more thing to say. It's past the witching hour. It's late. God bless you. Good night, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
And I never saw a bunch of Republicans with more reason to be happy than you are. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to recognize the great senator from the state of Utah, Orrin Hatch, for the purpose of offering the benediction.
We'll be back shortly with more CBS News coverage of this amazing Republican convention.